And welcome to Pete's Fishing for Beginners. Today I'm going to take you through the practical side of fishing, how we tie knots, the different size hooks, swivels, various lures and sinkers. Okay, so we're going to go through the practical side. The book is the theory, now this is the practical. When I go fishing, guys, I like to use simple knots that are super strong and will guarantee me to bring back that fish that I've caught. Okay, there's nothing worse than catching a fish and losing it because your knots are not tied in properly. Okay, so I'm going to show you very easy knots which will guarantee you, if you follow what I'm showing you today, you won't lose a fish. Okay, so let's start with some sinkers. We have a round ball sinker and we have some sinkers that I use when I fish off the beach. These sit down the bottom of the line, guys. Okay, there's a hook on the end of them and the sinker sits down and then I run my line. We'll go through all of that, but I've just bought some different types of sinkers just so you guys can have a look at them and see. They come in different sizes. You can get round smaller ball sinkers, bean sinkers, oval sinkers, pyramid sinkers, all different sizes, all different weights, okay? And you do need a variety of weights as you do a variety of hooks. Now, here you can probably see all the hooks, guys. This is my favorite beach hook, a size 4/0 round. I have caught flathead, I have caught dewies, I have caught birrim, tailor, trevally, even salmon off the beach. Very, very good hook, guys. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that we set up for the beach. Okay, so if I'm catching live bait, let's say I want to go at low tide and catch some live bait. Okay, I'm not going to use a hook like that to catch live bait because what I'm catching is smaller little fish like yellowtail, little potty mullet, whiting, whatever. Okay, now for that I use, as you can see here, it's a long shank size 10 hook. Okay, that is very, very good for yellowtail. And how I catch yellowtail is I take a couple of strips of meat, cut them up very small, put them through, cast it out. Yellowtail goes crazy for it, even mince meat. Okay, guys, this is another little hook, as you can see. Well, I just dropped him, but I'll pick him up in a minute. But that's another little hook for catching live bait. Now I've got a variety. As I said, that's my size 3, size 2, size 1. Okay, you can see them all in my hand there. Alright, then we have a range of swivels. We have a T-piece. You can see the T-piece, guys. Okay, it comes like a T. Alright, I've got a couple different sizes of them, so you can see they do come in various sizes, and also you can get them in brown or gold, doesn't matter, bronze, silver, they come in various ways, doesn't matter, but that's what a T-piece looks like. Okay, I have a standard up-down swivel. That's for mainly used for a running sinker setup. Okay, and then my favorite piece de resistance is my snap swivel. The reason why it's called a snap swivel, guys, you can see here, this bottom part is for changing various hooks and not wasting time trying to tie them on and this, that, and the other. Remember one thing, guys, in fishing. When the fish are biting, you do not, and I stress, you do not want to spend time setting up and not fishing. Less time setting up, more time fishing. Okay, get that, guys? More time fishing, less time setting up. Very important. Okay, because fish aren't going to be around all the time. Oh, here's the other little sinkers. I've managed to find them. Guys, there they are there. That's what we call a bean sinker. And that's just a little oval sinker. Okay, I normally use that when I'm fishing for live bait. Okay, you don't want something heavy because the live bait is closer to the surface. All right, now let's have a look at some lures. I use this down in the estuary. It's got a hook attached to it. Okay, so you tie your hook up here and it moves through the water like that when you're moving your rod in, when you're reeling it in. So you cast out, wait for it to sink, and then reel it in with a bit of a jerk every now and then, and it moves like that. The predator fish think it's an injured fish. They come along, bang, you hook them. Okay, very good little lures for the estuary. Also use this one. This is my favorite little estuary lure. It's just a plastic sort of lure, has a treble hook on the back of it and a bib. Now this bib determines, depending on the size of the bib and how it's shaped, where it's pointed to, depends on how far down it dives. Okay, now if you can just see here on the top, all right guys, that thing there, see that little O-ring? Okay, that's where you tie your hook, your line to, right? And then as it goes through the water, it'll dive, move around, rattles, fish hook onto that, bang, you got them. Okay, very good estuary lures. Next thing I want to take you through, guys, is a squid jig. This is what we use to catch squid. Now, that is it. That is how the exact length you would want. And as I said, you can see here it's got a small swivel on it. Main line of about 20 centimeters attached to the squid jig. Most of the time, I will put a smaller version of the snap swivel and attach it straight through there, clip it in. Guys, stressing, these barbs on the back and on the top are very, very sharp. I have had them dig into my hand, and trust me, there is no worse pain than getting these things stuck in your hand. All right, you do not want to do that. These things, these little squid jigs, come in various sizes, and they've got a sinker, as you can see down the bottom here. It comes in various weights. The reason for that is, guys, when you're casting out, you use the 20-second rule. Okay, always use the 20-second rule. That is, you've cast out, you slowly count to 20. 1, 2, 3, so on to get to 20. Then, once you've done that, you jig your rod a couple of times and wind in the slack. Jig a couple of times, wind in the slack. Now guys, look, it's very rare that you'll catch a squid straight off the very first cast. Not going to happen. Okay, if it does, you're very lucky. You've got to do that a couple of times to attract the squid's attention. Okay, now, one thing I found over my years of fishing, sorry, the wind's just blowing a few things away at the moment, but we'll pick them up in a sec. Okay, one thing I found about squid, and as I said, I've been fishing for over 48 years, okay, so I've had plenty of experience in what works and what doesn't. I worked out that squid especially are attracted to bright light, and they're more active at night. That's not to say you can't catch them during the day. You can, but they're more active at night and they love a bright light. Now, if you see here, guys, that there is a rod tip light. Normally we attach this to the tip of the rod so we can see it at night. If we get any bites, we can see it bouncing, okay? But they come in various ways. Some of them come with little clips on them. They just clip straight onto the rod tip like that. When you're fishing at night, you will see it, the tip of your rod bouncing. These ones are a different type. I bought these from Kmart and Big W. Now guys, I get a lot of my fishing gear from Big W and Kmart. It's good quality stuff, and it's the third of the price, okay? I don't go to BCF, I don't go to Anaconda, I don't go to Tackle World. I think that's a rip-off. For what I can fish, and as a beginner, guys, I can tell you now, just what I've got here, a variety of, say, hooks, small variety of sinkers, some swivels, a squid jig, a float, a couple of little lures, some spare line. Guys, you can spend about 50 to 60 bucks and you're ready to start fishing. A good rod and reel combo. Now this rod, guys, I made this rod myself, so, but you can get a nice little Jarvis Walker or even a Daiwa rod. Comes with a reel, a 4 foot, 5 foot, depending on your age, okay? But you can get some really good stuff for no more than 30 bucks, okay? And the rest of the other $20, you can buy a heap of fishing tackle, okay? It's all in the book, guys, what you need to have in your tackle box. I suggest that you buy at least one of everything that's in the tackle box. You'll need a pair of scissors, you'll need a pair of pliers. It's all there in the book, so read it. As I said, the book is the theory, guys. This is now the practical, okay? And we're on the banks of the Georges River. I come here fishing a fair bit. I've caught dewies down here, I've caught flathead down here, I've caught a shark down here. Yeah, believe it or not, guys, there is some sharks in there, okay? You get some really good sized brim here, some good tailor. Basically, it's a smorgasbord of fish. You don't know what you're going to catch in fishing, guys, okay? So remember that. It's the unknown, like I wrote in my book. Now, let's get back to the squid. Squid they love the bright light. So you snap this, pinch it, bend it until you hear it crack. Once it's done that, give it a shake to activate it and make it luminate. Once it's illuminated and it's tied to your rod, cast out, and remember the 20-second rule, guys, okay? That's how you catch squid, 20-second rule. Right, the next thing I want to show you guys is your live bait setup. Okay, so, live bait setup, guys. You have a flat swivel. Main line gets attached to the top, okay? The length of line, now I've just done it like this for the sake of this exercise, but generally, guys, the length between the bottom of your swivel to your second swivel and very first little split shot should be at least 70 centimeters to a meter long. Slide in your float, tie it off with the knot that I'm about to show you, put your split shot, and then you can adjust it up or down. All right, now to that we got the T-piece, and I'm running 2 hooks, guys. Whoops. The first one on the end of a little snap lock, okay, makes it easier for me to chop and change if depending on what sort of bait and how big the fish is that I want to catch for bait. And the second one is a bit longer. So always, guys, remember, one has to be longer than the other. So the first one, if you do it at say 50 centimeters, the next one should be halfway, 25. If you're doing it at 30, 15. You get the picture, okay? But that's generally how we catch live bait. All right. Next thing I want to show you is my crab net. Guys, forget going out and spending money on crab nets and all the things that don't work. Everyone's got a wife or a mum or a sister. All you need to do is ask them for their rolled stockings. Then you cut it just above at the top of the leg, and you cut in sections of about that long each one, leaving the foot part, okay, the foot part, leave it intact, which will come to about here. Then you've got another section to here, and then another section to there. All right, guys, so that's my big foot. Leave one to there, cut there, cut there. 3 pieces, guys. Okay. What we then do with the stocking is, and I like to tie a size 3 to size 4 bean sinker like that to the bottom of this, tie it off, fill it up with some bait. Now you go to a fish shop, they're always throwing out guts and heads and bits and pieces from fish that they've cleaned. Ask them, they'll give it to you in most cases. You don't even have to pay. All right? And that's good for catching crabs. So, I'll just take the rubber band off this, guys, just so you understand and you can see what I'm actually talking about. Okay, there's 2 pieces here, guys, so I don't need to show you both. They're both the same. But what this is an onion bag. Okay, so you can use stockings or an onion bag. When you go to Woolies or Coles, wherever you go shopping, and your mum buys the onions in the bags, you know, those mesh things that they come in, tell her to snip the end off very carefully, and you take the bags. Keep them in your fishing tackle. So, cut it about there, right? Then, sinker gets tied to the end, so that it sits there like that, and you tie it off really tight there. Pack it, open it up. Okay, so you open it up like that. It opens up fairly wide, guys, see? You can even fit my head through it. But you pack it in with your bait. Then, the top end, tie it really tight so that it doesn't move or you lose it, to the end of your hand line. Now, when you tie it to the end of your hand line, you just cast it out. Okay? Cast it out, let it sink, and leave the line slack. Okay, what I mean by that is, the line has to be loose, like that. Not tensioned, like that. You don't want it tensioned, you want it loose. So when you cast out, just leave it like that. The reason for that is, guys, when a crab takes that, and its claws get hooked into the meshing, okay, because that's what the whole idea of this is. Once the claws get hooked into here, they're not going anywhere. They're yours guaranteed. And you will see your line, and the only way you'll know you've got a crab on there, your line will tense up like that. It'll stretch and start moving. Once that happens, just grab it, and with 2 hands, one over the other, nice and slow. Well, you're not going to break a world record for being fast, guys. That's how too many people lose fish, whether it be a rod or whether it be a hand line. They do it way too quickly and they lose, they lose their fish or crab or squid. Yeah, you can catch crabs on a normal rod. You might have a live fish on there. The crab might grab it, but by the time you bring him up to the water, he's going to let go. I can guarantee that. I've tried it. Believe me, in 48 years, I've lost more than I've caught. But ever since I started this, with the stockings or the onions bags, I've not ever missed on a crab. So, that's a little bit of history on how to use your squid jigs, crab nets, how to catch live bait, different tackle that we're using, and now we're going to get into the practical. Let's tie some knots, because that's the most important thing about fishing, guys. Your knots need to be the right size. There's a heck of a lot of stuff on social media, YouTube and alike. There's quite a few books out there, and if you try and replicate what they're doing, believe me, I've tried a few of them and it's just not worth it. You got to keep going back to see where you went wrong, or go forward, or keep doing. Guys, I'm going to show you 4 or 5 basic knots that won't let you down. Okay, now the first knot, by the way, you'll see there's 2 different color lines. You're asking, why is there 2 different color lines? Okay, I've got a pink and I've got a green. The green is my 15 pound. Okay, that's my 15 pound line there. And don't worry, guys, once this goes in the water, the fish can't see it. It's only for you to see, right? 15 pound, 20 pound, all nylon line. I don't like using braid because when it's wet, it's harder to tie and too much mucking around. Remember what I said in the beginning, guys. More time fishing, less time setting up. Okay, so I just want to show you. Let's just grab a hook, yeah? Now, let's say we're going to catch some tailor or something off the beach. All right, guys, so there's our hook. We can do one of two things. We can put it on a snap swivel and onto our main line. Okay, so put our main line. It can sit there like that, right? Everyone can see that, yeah? Good. Or we can tie the line on to the hook. But if you're going to catch a tailor, they have very, very sharp teeth. Tailor on the beach grow very big, okay? It's not a hook like that, or even the long shank is no match for a tailor. They will swallow it, and they will even bite through your line at the top. So when I'm beach fishing, guys, I use what's known as a wire trace. That is 30 pound. Good luck for a fish to bite through that 30 pounder. Okay, so how do we put this on? If you're just starting out in fishing, guys, that's what this whole exercise is all about. How to do things the right way. Okay, so I've got my leader. Now what am I going to do? Okay, I've got to get that onto that, but then how's it going to hold? I can't. It's very hard to tie these things, guys. Okay? So, when you go and buy a wire trace, it comes with, you go and buy what's known as these little tube things. Okay? They either come together or you can buy them separately, but that's what they are there. Now, follow me down here, guys. This is important. Here's my wire trace. There's the end of my hook. What I do is, first the ring. Put your trace, your wire trace through it. There we go. Look at that. See? You can see it moving around. Yeah? Good. Now, that end through the eye of the hook. Okay? Simple. Just bring it back so that what you end up with now is a little loop. See that? Just a loop. Now, I grab this end of our sliding ring and I'll put it through both of the loops that I've just made. Okay, so you see that? That's the main. That's the end that I've just thread through the little ring. Okay. Now, you want to run it about that far so that the hook has got some movement. Okay? That's how far you should keep it, guys. Now, all you do is just hold it there, hold your ring. That's not going to go anywhere. This is why you need a set of pliers in your tackle box, guys. So, your pliers, start from the top and crimp. Okay? If you're young, get mum and dad to do it for you. Okay? Then we crimp the bottom. There we go there, guys. That is not going to go anywhere. Okay? Even if you get snagged, it's not going to move. Okay? So now we have our hook attached to our wire trace. Now you're going to say, well, how do I attach the wire trace to the main line? Very simply. If you're going to use a running sinker setup, you use a straight swivel. That will go there, main line to the top with your sinker on it. Okay, so the sinker's moving up and down. Right. If you're going to, and this is my setup, off the beach, I use the sinker on the bottom, and then I want my line to move around with the waves. So, that's the length you want. You can do one of two things. with the wire trace, because it's not how big the wire trace is, it's just to protect you from being bitten off. Okay, you can even have it shorter than that, and it's the same thing, guys. Okay, so there's the end, there's our little tube, put it in through there, so you can see now it's, there we go, moving around. Okay, there's the end, right? I'm going to put it on a snap swivel, but you can do one of two things. You can put that on there first and then attach a little bit more line to give you whatever you want, or you can cut this longer, up to you guys. Okay, there's no wrong way, it's just how you want to do it. So let's put this straight on, two-piece. Okay, top part is for our main line, bottom section will be our sinker, this will be our hook. So we put it through the T-piece, you can see that. Now we fold it back onto itself, so we got that, like we did before, yeah? Let's run our tube straight over it. There we go there, guys, see? Always allow a little bit, don't tighten it all the way up to the end of the swivel, okay? Always leave a little bit of room, like that. Okay, hold it there so it doesn't move. Okay, let's use our pliers and we'll crimp it down. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our hook ready for some bait, and you can always snip this off, guys. Snip the end off if you want, it's not going to matter, but I always do. Okay, just to keep it flush. There we go there. Okay, so sinker time. Well, let's go. Let's start with some green line and pink line. We'll do a multicolour so you can see it. Okay guys, now this is the knot that I want to show you. Okay, this is the knot that you need, that will guarantee you to catch 99% of your fish. You will not lose if you follow this knot. It's very simple. I can do it in under 45 seconds. So I'm going to use this sinker. There's our line. Thread it through, guys, like that. Okay, there it is. Nothing hard about that. Okay, allow about that much, all right? Now, just bring that end over this end to create a loop, like that. Simple, just a loop. You're holding two pieces of line together, guys. There it is there. Okay, now, that's it there. There's our loop. Now, we bring this line over its main line 4 or 5 times. Okay? So, 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. And I will put it back through here, through the loop. See that, guys? It's in through the loop. Grab hold of the two ends and pull down tight. There it is there. Nothing hard about that, guys. Nothing hard at all. Okay? That will hold. So, let's cut it off here. We're not going to actually fish at the moment. We're just doing this to show you guys how to do things. So, I'm going to snip the end off because we don't need that. And always, guys, pick up after yourselves. Don't leave rubbish in the area where you're fishing. Remember that. Other people need to fish there too. So always either put it in a plastic bag and take it with you and throw it in your bin, or most places you go, there are bins available. Throw all your rubbish in the bins. Don't just leave things lying around where you're fishing, and other people, as I said, need to fish as well, okay? So, we now have our hook tied to the T-piece. Now we're going to use a slightly different knot. I'm going to repeat these knots in a minute, guys, but this is a super good way of holding things on. I use it for all my hooks, all my knots. I basically love this one more than anything else. So I thread it through one way, and remember this, guys, if you start this way, you got to continue this way. If you start the other way, you have to continue the other way. You can't thread the line through this way and then decide to go through the other way. The knot will not work. So we've put it through there, right? You can see that, guys. Let me just get this out of your way so it's not confusing. Move that to the side so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Straight through like that. Let's bring it back through the same way, and what we've done now is we've created a loop. See that, guys? A loop. Loopy loop. Just there. Okay, there it is there. Just a small loop. Let's pull it down until we've got about that far. Now, thumb and forefinger, hold it there at the top. Okay, this part goes around the line 4 or 5 times. 1, 2, sometimes it does that. It'll end up, when you let it go, it'll end up doing 2 or 3 spins on its own. But try and do it yourself, yeah? So I'm doing it again 4 or 5 times. Now, there we go. So, what have we got now? We've got our loop, and we've got our second one there. This goes through the main loop, guys. The main loop. Remember that. Now, another good thing is, when you try and see how it turns out like that, guys? When you try and tighten something that's dry, yes, it works, but I always lubricate the line a little bit so that it really bonds. Okay? Then, grab, damn it, get off there. Hang on a sec, guys. Okay. So now, there's our knot. Just grab that end, grab this end, and pull them both tight. Okay? There it is there. That knot is not going to go anywhere. Pull it tight, stretch it. There it is. I've got a fair bit of pressure on that, guys. It's not moving. Okay? So, what do we got now? We've got our line. When we cast it, that's going to hit the sand or the bottom and stay there. That is going to move around. Now, important, guys. If that is 60 centimeters, that should be 30. Always half the distance of that. So if it's 60, it's 30. If it's 1 meter, it's 50. Okay, remember that, guys. Very, very important. Now, we're going to tie our main line on. And for that, we're going to use the pink. So snip that. Put that there so it holds the weight. There we go. Now let's use some of our pink line. Okay, guys, here we go. Same thing as before. Same knot, pay attention. The knot is a double loop knot. So, line through the eye, just like that. Bring that back around the same way you did it the first time. In through there. Create yourself the loop. There we go there. Once we've got that loop, thumb and forefinger, hold it. That line there, which is our loose line, ties around main line. 5 times, round and around, over it. Once, twice, 3, 4, and 5. Now, 5 times, that's the end, goes in through the double loop, grab the end of it, there it is there, exactly the same thing, okay? And pull it tight. That's it. That is how simple, how easy, and this knot, guys, as I said, I use it for everything. Okay? There's our end. We don't want that anymore. We just snip it. Gone. Again, put all our rubbish together. Just cut it here. Now, let's pretend, guys, this line is coming off our reel. So it's hanging off the end of our rod, yeah? It goes all the way to the reel. We have our T-piece swivel. We have our hook on a wire trace. Especially if you're fishing off the beach, guys, I recommend you use wire trace. Okay? From that, down the bottom is our sinker. That, guys, is a simple beach rig, guaranteed to get your fish. But remember, the bottom line to the sinker, 70 centimeters, 35 centimeters length of that. Always half the distance of whatever you've got here. If that is 60, then the line here for your hook should be 30. You get the picture, right? You can do maths. Half the distance. There it is there, guys. Okay. So, there's our beach fishing thing. Oh, something must have bitten me. Okay. Now, our snap swivel. That's it there, guys. See that? Snap swivel. Okay. So, let's do this. And remember what I said before, guys. More time fishing, less time setting up. Sometimes I pre-set up my gear, depending on where I'm going. And if that doesn't work, I've always got backups already set up, so that again, I'm not wasting time setting up. I'm out there fishing. So, in one way, back through, loop, line, pull loop down to it's about that big, yeah? A little one. Right, main line, end line, pull 2 together, hold, thumb, forefinger. See that now? Right, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Straight through. Pull it tight. There we go. Done. In less than 45 seconds, guys. You can even do this in the dark. Alright? Make sure you always cut the right end, eh? That's the end. Make sure you always cut as close to as you can. There we go. Done. Now, the reason I'm using this, if I'm fishing, say here, and let's say I'm using a size 1. Okay? Now, you'll probably notice and wonder, why does this hook have a bend like that? Okay. This is a special type of hook. What happens is, in the water, this tends to move like that when it's on the bottom, as opposed to a straight one which just sits there and floats around. Okay? So, if I'm fishing here in the Georges River, which I really wish I was today, but I'm not, I use that, thread that through the eye of your hook. So that goes through the eye of the hook, like that. There we go. Nothing hard about that, guys. See? Then you use this and clamp it down. Now I've bent this thing accidentally, but there you go. You clip it in. Okay? Now, let's say I've cast out. I'm waiting, and there's bigger fish, but that hook is not correct, or I might want to change to a different hook depending on what I'm catching. Again, I'm not wasting time cutting it with the line, tying it directly on. You can do that, guys, but I think this is a much easier idea, yeah? So what I'll do is I'll just push it down, open it up, take that one off. Let's say I want to use something this big now, my beach hook. Again, guys, simple. Through there, clamp it down. I prefer to use this for attaching any sort of hooks or even lures, and most importantly, the squid jig. Remember what I said before, guys? These barbs are very, very sharp. God knows how many times I have had these things stuck into my fingers. Okay, it does hurt. I use this, it's easier, straight in, clamp it, and if I want to go from a smaller squid jig to a bigger squid jig, I can. And I have various sizes of squid jigs in my tackle box, okay? This is a blue one. This one here, guys, that you can see, is my little orange one. They're shaped like that because they resemble a prawn. You can also get other ones that are oval, like this sinker, for example, and they have, say, the barbs on the end like that, okay? The oval type. This is much preferred. It resembles, squid think this is an injured prawn, they go for it, okay? So, same deal. Hook that through there or through your lure, okay? So you're using our lure. Find the eye of the hook, which is there, and thread him through. There you go. Okay. If I want to use my other lure, same thing, guys. Okay. Where we have the bib thing and the O-ring on the top, just turn him upside down so you can see where it's going, and hook it through. Come on, you. Hook through. There we go. Okay. That's it. Again, when you're using a lure, you need a very small sinker or no sinker at all. Depends on, if you're going to cast out and use a lure, you need to use a lure that's got some weight behind it, okay? When I'm using this one because this is my little favorite one, and after years of practice and finding out how to get him to work properly, what I do is I use a size 1 being sinker onto my straight swivel. Okay, so it ends up looking like that, if you can see it there, guys. So that's, your line goes through there, attaches to there. From there I run maybe 15 centimeter line to there. So let's just do it. Let's say that far, right? And now we put our lure. That's it. But it gives me the flexibility of casting a little bit further. Okay? Now, you've seen a couple of knots. I want to do one more knot for the hooks, and then I'm gonna show you guys how we attach our line and use our drag system. So, where's the end of my... Okay, let me just cut this off, guys, because I don't need it anymore. Okay. Now, if you were to attach a hook straight onto a line, very simple, guys, very strong, super easy. I'm making your life so easy using a couple of very easy, strong knots. So, end line, through the eye of the hook. Pardon me because my hands are a bit shaky. Okay, now, all I've done is run it through the eye of the hook and pulled it like that. Now, I bring that back through to create what we've got now, a little loop, yeah? See that? It's just folded back onto the end of the hook. This is where it gets, this is your main knot now. End line, main line, to your swivel, straight up. So, this you wrap around the hook. 1, nice and tight, yeah? 2, keeping the loops close as you can together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, can you see there, guys, what I've just done? I've created a wraparound, yeah? Now, there's the end. That end is now going to go through our loop that we've made, pulling it down onto your hook. See that? Hold the end, and now your main line, pull the whole thing together. Be careful when you're doing this, guys. Always hold the end of the hook. Pull it super tight. There we go. If you want to, guys, you can also enlist the help of your pliers. You just grab your pliers like that. Grab onto the line. Okay. And then pull it tight. Okay. But that's tight enough. That's not going anywhere. Or you can use something like that. Pull it tight. There it is there. Now, snap. Let's cut that end as close to, guys. Right, the reason why we do it so close to the end of the hook is we don't want the fish to taste the line. He's got to swallow the bait. So as close to the end as you can, it's not going to go anywhere. That is my second favorite knot. It was so easy, so simple, but that will hold. Doesn't matter what you get on the end of that, it will hold. Okay, so now I want to show you how we attach line to either, you can use that for beach onto a sinker like this. You can use it mainly for spooling a reel or spooling a hand line. Here's how we go. I call this the hangman's knot. The reason being, it's like a hanging noose. So when it goes around something, it pulls tight. Okay, very simple, guys. Line. Just make a little loop like that. Just fold it back over itself and hold the end. Now, bring that through the loop. See that? And this is where we get it that way. Now, there it is there, guys. It's just come through. Okay, see that? Straight through. Alright, now, for this to work, we just hold it there, wrap it around 3 or 4 times, doesn't really matter. 3 is better, 4 is even more better. Now, what we do is, that end that we've just wrapped around, bring it back through here, through the second loop. Let me do it again. I'll let it go. Okay, so line, wrap around, bring it through the loop, like that, through the loop. Okay, here we go. Once, twice, 3 times. Back through the hole that we've just created and pull it tight. There's our knot, guys. Now, slides. See? I can open it. Look how far I'm opening it, yeah? Or I can hold the knot and I can close it. That is your hangman's knot. The reason we use that is if that's our reel and we're going to put new line on it, this goes into your over the top. Once you've opened the bail arm, you then pull it tight, clip over your bail arm and start winding in your line. Now, you do need the assistance of 2 people, guys. The ice cream guy's coming. I feel like an ice cream. So the cameraman might have to press pause and go and get a couple of ice creams. But here we go. What we're going to do now is attach our line to there, yeah? So we've done our loop. It's on there. When you buy a new spool of line, guys, it comes in something similar to this, okay? I've just put line on this, but it will come like that. What you need to do is get either a pencil or a stick or something that you can put through the hole like that so that your line can move around. Your friend, your brother, your sister, all they do is just guide it. Hold the pencil and allow this to turn like that while you're winding in line to fill your reel. Nothing hard about that, guys. It's very simple, but you do not put too much pressure so this doesn't turn. Okay, it's got to be loose so that it rolls. Now, drag. Let me show you about drag. Okay. Drag, guys, is very, very important when it comes to fishing. It can be the difference between catching a fish, losing a fish. Now, I know when I first started fishing, I had dramas understanding this drag business. I really did. I struggled with it. No matter how many times they showed me, I still struggled with it. That was because I wasn't focusing. So, drag. Down here, guys, on the reel. Okay. On the top here, we have our wheel. If I turn it like, or lock it in, that line is not going to come off. Most reels, when you buy them, the drag is either way too loose or super tight like this. You need to adjust it. Guys, drag is 1/3 of the breaking strain of your main line. So if this is a 6-pound line, the drag setting should be 2 pound. 2 times 3 equals 6. 1/3. Okay? Now, that's not going to go anywhere. You're going to say, how the heck do we know if it's 2 pound, 10 pound, whatever? Well, there's 2 ways you can do it. You buy a set of scales, which you should have anyway in your tackle box, so you can measure your fish, how much weight's on it. Or the second way, which is how I do it, but that's because I'm so used to it. So what we do, we turn this wheel a little bit. That's too loose. Turn it back. That should be just about right. And I'll tell you why I know it's going to be right. Because this is the second way I do it. So I use this. And this is what a fish will do when it takes it See that? It's still just coming off. That's exactly what I want, just to come off, okay? Without snapping my line or breaking the rod. Now remember, if you leave it tight, two things will happen. You'll snap the end of the rod at the tip, or you will snap your line and lose your fish. So, some reels will come with the drag setting on the top, or a little wheel on the bottom, which you again turn one click at a time until you get the desired drag setting. Okay, it's all in the book, guys. Learn it. Now, how do we cast the rod? Okay, I've already hooked up a little squid jig here just to show you for the exercise. Okay, so guys, this is the most important part of casting a rod. With your palm and your hand, you see the arm that comes down from the rod, right? Your middle fingers should be through that, okay, like that. Your forefinger grabs hold and holds against the butt of the rod. Your thumb over it like that. Undo your bail arm, guys. That's your bail arm. Now, line is free to come off. Most rods, now I made this rod using some old stuff from the garage, but most rods have a longer butt. So you would hold it like that. If it's a longer butt, it'd be down here, okay? Follow me to the water, guys. I'm about to show you how to cast. So, I've got a person fishing there. I've got a person fishing there. I've come straight in the middle. I want to cast straight out in front of me. So remember, guys, this foot, like that. My body is straight to the water. The rod is at a 45-degree angle to my right shoulder. I'm holding it down against the butt. When I'm about to cast, I'm going to let go of my forefinger, holding the actual line to the rod. So, here we go. Let's give it a go, eh? Let's hold like that. And the rod, you can see, is perfectly in line. Now, close our bail arm. Let's wind her in. Okay, guys. That's it. Let's do it again, eh? Line. Okay, guys. Let me come closer so you can see. Hand, line, in through here or here, doesn't matter. Well, it depends on how big your hands are, but there is better. Always keep this, try and keep it as close to even as you can. Not too far this way, not down there. So for me, I'm going to wind it in until there. It's in line with the rod. It's much easier to handle, guys. Like that. Bring your line there. Open your bail arm. Now, if you're right-handed, your handle is on the right side. If you're left-handed, you can swing it over and follow the instructions in the book, but basically the same way of casting, yeah? Just change hands. So, I'm holding it there like that. My foot is straight. My body is straight to the water. Rod is at a 45. When I'm about to cast, I let go of my finger. Line and rod is straight. I did not move. It's gone straight ahead. That is how you cast, guys. Close your bail arm. Now wind her in. There's a few rocks here, so I want to just move away from those rocks. I'll bring it here. I can get it back up. There we go. Right, that's it, guys. That is how simple it is. Now, if you have a look just down here, I'll pick up my hook first. Drop that one. Okay, if you have a look here, guys, this is my rod holder that I made. Okay, very simple to make. if you want one of these guys, they're on sale for 10 bucks without a light on them. They're $20 with the light. And also, there's a USB attachment to it, so you can charge your phone at the same time while you're using your light running off a 9-volt battery. This one I just bought here. I didn't bring the light, just to show you to set up your rod. Okay, sometimes you go to a place like this, you got nowhere to put your rod, unless you go and spend money to buy a rod holder. That's fine. But you can, on wet rainy days guys, you can make this. Only a couple of pieces of pipe, a couple of right angles, cut them to size, bang, there it is there. Okay, your rod has now got somewhere to sit, and I always keep my rod guys at a 45 degree angle. Okay, so if it's like that and there, that's your 90 degrees. If it's there and like that, that's your 45 or 60 degrees. Okay, but my rod can sit like that. My line is in the water. If a fish takes it, bang bang, I can just grab it, bang. Or I'm not sitting there holding a rod. Oh, hang on, I feel peckish, I want to eat something. Oh, how am I going to do it? This way, leave it there. You can sit down, have your sandwich, have a drink, whatever you want. That's not going anywhere. Okay, guys? This is how we do it. That's it. Now, the very last thing is our floats. And I finally got this one off the ground because I dropped it. But to make a float, guys, this float here that I showed you before, I made it. Here's what you do, guys. You go to any shop, you can buy the ping pong balls or use old Christmas decoration softballs, take the fluffy bits off it until you're left with just that. Put 2 holes. Be very careful. One on the top, one on the bottom. Matchstick. Be careful putting it in because they do bend easy. They pop in. Just put it in and then use a bit of tape so you can mark your center. Nothing hard about that so far. Okay? There it is there. Once you've done that, it's ready for painting. Now, I don't care what color you guys want to use on the top. Whatever you can see. Okay? It can be bright pink, green, yellow, orange, red, purple. I don't care. You can do whatever color you're going to see. What is critical though is the bottom. Okay? The base. The base has to be white or silver for reflection of the water. Okay? Reflection from the water. Here's one I've made a bit earlier. I've painted it red on top, silver on the bottom, ready to go. There's the matchstick, comes out. Okay, there it is there. So now I just put a couple of little pieces of tubing in there to hold my line. You don't even have to. All you do now is thread your line through that hole, it still slides up and down depending on your length that you want to use. Okay guys, so on rainy days, like I said, and you can't go fishing or it's very blustery and whatever else, guys, sit at home, either make some cheap floats, practice your knot tying, have different setups hooked up so that when you do go fishing, you've got different things set up already in your tackle box. It's just a matter of taking it out, hooking it on, start fishing. Nothing worse than wasting time when it comes to fishing. So I hope that I've taught you guys a few things. Remember, everything that I've shown you today, guys, is in the book. Okay? This is the practical, the book is the theory. The book gives you an idea how to do things. Now you've seen how to do things. I wish you guys all tight lines. Hope to see you guys on the water. And if you ever see me on the water, don't be afraid to come and say g'day. I'm willing to help you if you need any assistance in fishing. Tight lines, and see you on the water.